I have been wanting to try to make granola with my discard for a while, but I haven't really had a chance. So I decided today I'm gonna make a chance. I'm gonna use my discard, some rolled oats, and some other stuff along the way to make s'mores granola, but I'm gonna proteinify it so that I can use it as a substitute for protein cereal and save myself some money maybe. We'll see how it goes. Now this is really stinking good now that I've already tried some, but don't take my word for it. Try it yourself and then come back and tell me how amazing it is. I started by adding about 150 grams of starter and 300 grams of oats with 43 grams of chia seeds. It was fine. 45 grams of flax and about 72 grams of half pecans. But you can add in whatever seeds and nuts you like. That's just what I happen to have in my pantry. For just a touch of sweetness, I had about 30 grams of honey. And then I wanted to add some extra protein to mine. And so I added about 75-ish grams of protein. It was vanilla. And then about 10 grams of cocoa powder just to give it a little extra chocolatey taste. At that point, I decided to add a little bit of salt just to kind of balance the stuff out. And then I gave it a little mix just to incorporate what I could. And I decided I was having a little bit of trouble with that, so I did add some extra starter just to kind of glue everything together. I ended up adding about 75 grams because, you know, it's how life goes sometimes. And once that was in there, it looked much, much better. At that point, I added 3 sheets of graham crackers that I crushed up in a little baggie. And then I added about 50 grams of marshmallows and about 40 grams of chocolate chips. I also preheated my oven to about 325. Felt like the right thing to do. I also decided at this point that I was going to probably top with a few extra little pieces of graham cracker and or some marshmallows and chocolate chips just to give it that extra s'mores vibe. I did try to mix it with a fork because the spatula wasn't working super well. But I gave up and just went in with my hands because I am uncivilized. It's fine. It worked better that way anyway. Honestly, I could feel it better, so I could feel like where it needed more moisture, and that was just kind of better in the long run. I should have done that from the beginning, most likely. Once everything was nice and well incorporated, I spread it out on a baking tray lined with a silicone mat. And I tried to get everything as even and thin as possible, just so everything would cook fairly nicely. Took a little bit of time just to make sure everything felt right and everything was distributed the right way. But honestly, the details are important, I suppose. After that was done, my oven was finished preheating, and I started in the oven at for about 15 minutes. It actually ended up being closer to like 18 because time is what it is, and that's fine. But it looked pretty good at that point, so I decided to add an extra like 10 grams of marshmallows and about 25 grams of chocolate chips just to kind of give it a little extra s'moresy pizzazz. I felt like the graham crackers were enough at that point, so it was fine. Went back into the oven for another little bake until everything looked golden brown and felt like kind of crisp to the touch. So it was like an extra 15-ish minutes before that happened again. And then I let it sit on my countertop to completely cool for about maybe an hour because, you know, time. But either way, at that point, I was super duper excited to try it. And it was fabulous. It was so, so good. I let my kids try it, and they asked if it counted as a dessert. So, like, you know, I feel like that's a mom win. I'll take it.